Take a moment just to drop in. I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you like. And just take a moment to drop into your body, feeling your feet firmly planted on the ground. You're welcome to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. We're going to take 3 nice deep breaths together. And you're welcome to sigh on the exhale or exhale as though you're exhaling through a straw, beginning now. Inhaling again. And one last time. And just noticing any sensations arising in your body. Noticing the temperature. Do you feel warm? Do you feel cool? Do you feel hot? Noticing any sounds around you. But allowing the sounds to fade into the distance. And in this moment, noticing your hands on your own body with power, taking this moment to tell yourself that you love yourself, that I'm so proud of you, that I'm with you, that I've got you, and that I honor you for the journey you've traversed in 2022. You are perfect. It was perfect. And I give thanks for the energy, the stamina, the strength to keep going. As long as there's breath in my body, I, you, we can try again. And in this moment, taking one thing, thinking of one thing you feel truly, easily grateful for, that makes you feel like your cup runneth over. Acknowledge that in your mind's eye, in your heart, letting it well up inside of your whole body, giving thanks for this thing, but so much more. And as I count down from 3 to 1, gently preparing to open your eyes. 3, 2, and 1. And you're welcome to give yourself a little shake, maybe some shoulder rolls, forwards and backwards, reaching towards the ceiling, interlacing your fingers, twisting to the right, coming back to center, twisting to the left, coming back to center and shaking your hands down. Whew. And so I'd love for you to share in the comments what word describes how you're feeling right now in this moment. And welcome to the new people who came on. What word describes how you're feeling right now? Gail says ease. Beautiful. Christina says soft. Cynthia says grounded. Janet says peace. Beautiful. Well, welcome to our How to Close Out 2022 Like a Queen. This is actually the third time that I'm doing this, and I love doing it every year. And the New Year's is my favorite holiday. And I am a holiday person, but I just love the spirit of just possibility that's in the air, the hope, and that while it's true that we can have markers anytime we want, maybe it's your birthday, maybe it's every new moon, every month, every Sunday. I think there's something so powerful that 365 days have gone by for everyone, and it's a beautiful time to just kind of take that in and realign, give ourselves a little chiropractic adjustment and be like, am I still moving my life, my business in the direction that I want to go? Johnette says calm. Margaret says here. Beautiful. Well, if you're meeting me for the first time, my name's Kadidja Yansani. Yes, that is my given name. That is my given name. And I'm the founder of business bloomintoyou.com. I'm sorry, I'm hearing an echo. Let me see if I can correct that. All right, how's that? Much better. So if you're meeting me from the first time, I'm the founder of bloomintoyou.com. That is my website. It's funny, I feel like I should use that imagery more because I'm someone that loves flowers. And when I came up with that name years ago, before I was even a business coach, like just the whole spirit of feeling like we're here to bloom, we're here to flourish. Whether that's as a business person or as a human being, like we're a seed, and all of the experiences, we have an opportunity to grow and reach our full potential, whether it's in relationship and business, which is why many of you are here. But I feel like I'm so much more than a business coach. I feel like that's the doorway that people come to me, but really what my work is about is helping you women, my clients, just honor their unique gifts. It's not about being like me or anybody else, but packaging, delivering, sharing your authentic brilliance with the world and getting paid for it, that there's nothing wrong with getting paid for it. Like there's an energy exchange, and the more comfortable we get with that energy exchange, that what you're offering is so valuable and what people are receiving is so valuable, it makes such a difference. So type a 1 in the comments if that makes sense for you. My signature program is called the Business Queen Academy, and it has evolved over time. I would have never expected to become a business coach, but through my work and growing my community and hosting women's circles, that's the thing that people kept asking me for help with. And I often say that your niche is just a doorway. It's just telling people what section of the bookstore is your book, and you can share all of your magic on the inside of your program. So I've helped my clients do things like have their first 5-figure month, have their first client, have their next client, launch and grow their communities and their programs. And it's still a joy for me after all of these years. I'm also a mother. My kids are in the other room. I have a 6 and an 8-year-old. So I totally get the layers and the depth that we have as women. Maybe you have a relationship, you have children, you have grandchildren, you have elderly parents. There's so many things that are vying for your time and attention. And that when we give ourselves this time, whether it's with me or with someone else or on your own, that you carve out time to nurture your gift, it is going to begin to nurture you. So welcome again to this class. And I see your ones in the comments, so thank you. So even though tomorrow is January 1st, you don't have to feel like, oh my God, I have to do everything before January 1st. I often joke that I feel like the whole month of January is December 31st, meaning that I feel like I'm tying loose ends, I'm moving slow. My Christmas tree might still be up for another week or two. I feel like my living room tells me when it's time to put it away. So what I'm offering you today are suggestions, are things that I do. You're welcome to take what feels resonant for you, leave what doesn't, create, spark your own creativity and feel like, hey, I might want to try this. So I want you to take it in that vein. And that's also something you want to do with any program that you sign up for, that you're the queen of your business, you're the queen of your life, and you know what feels right. Something that feels right for you right today might not feel right for you 30 days from now. So the first thing that I love to do is to reflect on the previous year. And I know a lot of people have been talking about this, but you have to actually do it, right? So it's so powerful because what happens is we just ordered some groceries from Instacart. And usually before we put the groceries in, what do? We take out anything that's been in there too long that we need to throw away. So if you just keep putting groceries in the groceries and you never take anything out, you're going to have something really stinky in the back. And it's just not, it's going to feel like yucky, right? So what we're doing when we're looking at our previous year is like clearing out the cobwebs, saying, no, I think I want to keep these artichoke hearts. No, I think this needs to go. And so what are the things that you can reflect on in your previous year? So I love to journal. I have people who love to journal, some people who don't. I find something really powerful about being able to write down things. But if you're not a writer, you can talk it out to someone, have them, whether it's a therapist or someone in your life, but it's really good to unearth and clean out your refrigerator, clean out the drawer, clean out the cobwebs. And so what are the things that you can revisit? You can revisit the wins that you had this year. And I often say, like, there's a teacher that I had, she said that unacknowledged good turns to ish. Unacknowledged good. And so that means when you have things that happen in your life that you've been praying for and they come and you just you're on to the next thing, it's almost like that didn't happen. And so anything that I'm saying here today, you could do it for New Year's Eve. You could do it next week. Inside the Business Queen Academy, we have regular, where we come back and we look at our last 30 days. So you want to revisit your wins. What were the things that you are, your failures, your disappointments, your challenges? I was hesitant in using the word failure because I think that we can always learn from things, but maybe you see it as a failure. Maybe you launched something and you felt the disappointment that no one signed up or you didn't get the traction that you wanted. So it's so gentle to our heart to be like, hey, I'm disappointed. I put so much effort into that and it didn't flourish the way that I was expecting it to. You can also look at how much money did you make? What new things did you implement in your business that you tried this year and how did it work out? This is really important. I myself feel like sometimes I'm going to the next thing and it's so valuable to stop, to pause and take that moment for reflection. So if anyone in the comments wants to share something about, a win that they had, feel free to put it in the comments, or a challenge. So that's number one, let's reflect on our year. You don't have to do this fast. I started, one of the things I'll be telling you about my upcoming retreat later, but I didn't bring it with me, but there's a workbook that we go through and I was going through it yesterday and I was like, wow, I could just see how you could just keep coming back to it because your memory gets jogged as you start writing. So the second thing is are there any loose ends that you want to tie up? There's so many loose ends that weigh on our energy. And then it's easy for you to judge yourself for oh, I was supposed to do this and I didn't do it. And there's something that's so magical that happens when you actually do it. And raise your hand if you can identify where something has felt so heavy and so hard. and you finally do it and you're like, oh my God, that was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. But I did it. And now I feel like I have all this room. Janet says she stepped away from a position that was not taking me where I wanted to go. Good for you, Janet. That takes so much courage and honesty to like look at our life, look at our situation and say, I want something else. And so you're creating a vacuum, you're creating a space for something that's more authentic to be filled in that space. Thanks for sharing that. So what are the loose ends that have been weighing on you? And maybe they're not even weighing on you, but it could just feel like a little irritation. It could feel like a little nag, whether it's paperwork, maybe you've been meaning, so like I just took my kids to the dentist 2 weeks ago and like I had been thinking about it and it feels so good to do that. And so like, are there medical appointments? Have you had a breast exam or a pap smear? Do you need to have blood work done? Is it time for an oil change? Do you need to clean your car? Like what's nagging at you? We moved in January, but in our previous house, we had carpet and we have hardwood floors here, but every day, like for a while, it was just, I was seeing this stain that nobody else was seeing, but I was seeing it. It was bothering me. And so like things like that are like eating away at you energetically, and you might think that they're no big deal, but anytime we clear out, we create a space for what we truly want to come in. I remember we did a huge garage dump. And then like, I was like, wow, I noticed that my income increased. Now I'm not saying that, oh, if you empty your garage, you're going to make more money. But I can't explain to you how like energetically, I know that me releasing contributed. Yes, I did a lot of marketing efforts. And so all of those things are connected. So what is nagging you? So I'm going to give you a moment in the chat, like what's been like, tapping at your shoulder there, saying, hey, take care of me. Welcome, Lizette and Vivica. What's been nagging at you? And it's not enough to know, but like this is beyond the scope of this particular workshop, but I want you to make a list of those things. And you don't have to feel like it's not a situation of like, I have to do all those things before I'm ready for the new year. But what you want to do is set a date where you're going to like, what's the most important thing? What's nagging you the most? And I'm going to set up a plan to address it. Maybe I'm going to make that appointment, or maybe I'm going to give myself 2 hours to complete this, whatever the issue is. And then the third one is we want to declutter. Decluttering is so powerful. I mentioned, like my garage, but it's like your car, your email. It's not just stuff. Oftentimes when we think of declutter, we think of our closets, which that's true. Do the clothes that you have still suit you? Are they who you are today? Maybe that's you from 7 years ago, you from last year. Drawers that nag you, like anytime you go to your desk, you're like, oh my God, it's just too much. You want to see it in a more orderly way so that you can do the work, and not the less distractions you have, the more space you have to create in your business. So what do you need to declutter? Is it closets? Is it activities? Type a 1 in the comments if you have something that you're like, you know what, I just want to handle that. So like I said, your car, your email, your schedule, you want to look at your calendar. Oftentimes people say that they want more clients, but their calendar is cluttered. Then you want to do an audit of your calendar. Like, do I really still want to take on this volunteer activity? Can I ask someone else to take my kids on that day? So when we have space, and I'm just going to give you another little trick here. So when I wanted to, before I had my group program, and I still do private coaching, but I was primarily doing one-on-one coaching. And so what I did was, in my calendar, I marked space for my group program. I said, okay, Tuesdays at 10 a.m., even though I didn't have the group yet, but I set the time. I looked at my calendar. I'm like, what's the perfect day and time for me? And then I set up a reoccurring meeting for that. So that was like a little placeholder for my group. Let's see, I see a few comments. So Christina says, I have to clear my computer desktop. Yes. And so one thing I want to say is that sometimes we can look at a task and it can feel so overwhelming. And I'm a huge fan of just using our phone. It could be 15 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, where you say, sometimes things take 2 or 3 steps. So right now I'm doing a big physical mailing, and if I did it all at one time, it would have been a lot. So that means, to write the addresses from sender to packet to create the packs. And so it's happened in a few stages, which makes it easy. So be gentle with yourself and realistic with yourself when you're tackling something. Maybe trying to Marie Kondo your whole house in a weekend is not realistic, but you okay, I'm just going to clean out the refrigerator today. And if you have more energy, then you do more. So thank you, Christina. I'm sure I can relate. It's like, you like your email. Do you have thousands of emails? Do you have people who you need to unsubscribe from? But we'll get to that. So what are the things that you need to declutter? The fourth one is cleaning up your environment so that you can elevate your space. It feels so good. Raise your hand if you feel good when your house is clean. Doesn't it feel incredible? Or like, whether it's your environment, your room, your workspace, again, it's not like, oh, I have to clean my whole house before I do. For some of you, you might. Like, I remember when I was in college, before I could write a paper, I did have to, and it was just a room at the time. I had to clean my room before. Christina's laughing. I see some nods. Like, I literally, but the thing is, my mind was working on my paper, right? So it's like you're cleaning and you're thinking about your paper. So all of you, have something that helps you transition into what you're doing. Cleaning can be a thing, but there's something about, getting under the bed. Like, I cleaned off the refrigerator top, like that just makes you feel clean. Maybe there's a reason they say, cleanliness is next to godliness. So where have you been neglecting? Like, this is also self-care that you can, whether you do it yourself or whether you hire someone to come and clean. And it's like such a beautiful offering. And it's like you taking such care and pride in what you have. So what could use some cleaning in your life? Again, I'm going to say this probably for each one. Don't feel like, oh my God, now I have so much to do. And it's not about before the new year presents its blessings that you have to do all this, but this is a way to just kind of seduce the new year, like play with the energy of the new year and like show your love to like your desire and being grateful for all the things that you have. So what are the things that you need to declutter? Margaret says, clear off my desk and start fresh. I love this. So there's so many things we can clear off. Sometimes my kids are at my desk and they leave crayons and pencil sharpener things. I'm like, you guys need to come over here and clean this desk. But it feels so good when everything is orderly. Same thing with our altars. Our altars can get stale, maybe because of dust, the elements, maybe we haven't been doing our practices there. And so you just coming, clearing off the table, wiping things down, just freshens the energy, and you stand a little bit straighter feeling the power of that. So thank you, Margaret. Clearing off your desk and starting fresh. Where do you want to clear off and start fresh? The next one is so we said clean up your environment. Same, that's house, that's car, that's if you have a job, your cubicle, maybe you bring something into that space at your job that just, maybe it's an affirmation card deck, maybe it's a stone, maybe it's a little plant. So this is just a way to like create more inspiring spaces for ourselves that we look forward to sitting down at, where we can do our work, whether it's writing, whether it's your launch planning. Welcome, Susan. Nice to see you. So clean up our environment. Number 4 is to sage our space. I should say clear our space. So like whatever tool you use to do that, it could be sage. It could be having a Himalayan salt lamp. It could be, an essential oil spray that you create, and so that you're just clearing the air, clearing yourself. I love to even do this after sessions. And it isn't always clearing because it's negative. It could just be stiff. It could be you're just feeling that energy needs to move. And so letting the doors open, the windows open, spraying yourself, saging yourself, using Palo Santo incense, your preference of clearing the energy, and then saying whatever prayers or blessings that you're letting go of, or what you're calling in as you clear your space. And so I'd love to hear in the comments, like, what are some things you like to do to clear your space? Bells are really great to clear energy. We can do some clapping, like really loud. You can play some music. All of these things lift our vibration and have us feeling less heavy and more light, which is what we want, because the lighter that we feel, the ideas come and we intuitively know what to do next. I'll just pause for a moment and see if anyone had anything to say or share. No? Okay. So I think I mentioned clean up our altar. And again, this doesn't have to be once a year. It could be every couple of months. So you can clear up your altar. Christina says, I love smudging and opening windows to clear out energy. Yes, makes such a difference. And these are simple tools that we want to use all the time, because growing your business, being visible, marketing, putting your offers out there, whether that's after sessions, whether that's like we're relying on our tools to, whether it's after sessions, before sessions, raising your vibration before you do something, like be really visible on social media, like all of that empowers you to hit the send button powerfully. And then Susan Gregg says she loves candles. Awesome. Yes, I love candles too. Type your favorite scent of candles in the chat. And if it's unscented, that's okay too, but I'd love to hear. So we talked about cleaning up our altar. Maybe there's something new. Maybe you want to place some water on the altar or some flowers. Or maybe you change things. Maybe you change things around. Maybe you've had the same altar for a while, or maybe you want to make it altar specific. So maybe you've had a general altar up until now, and maybe you want to say, create an abundance altar or a love altar. Or maybe you want to, change the location of your altar so that you'll use it more. So these are all things that you can do. The seventh one is to engage in ritual. So let's see our favorite scents here. We have citrus, rosemary, peony blossom, and pine scented. Oh my God, I love how everyone has like a different scent that does it for them. This is so interesting. So let me just say this. The way that you guys all love these different scents, your client is attracted to your unique scent. And so what I mean by that is the way that you do things, the way that you show up, your unique, maybe you're someone that loves dogs or you love nature and people resonate with that. I worked with a coach a couple of years ago. I did want to work with her. And I also noticed that she was letting her hair go gray. And I liked that. And at the time, I felt like I knew that I wanted to let my hair go gray, but I was a little nervous and wasn't completely confident in it then. And I saw her and I was like, she looks so amazing. And I love that she's doing that. And so my point is that some of your clients love citrus. Some of the people out there love rosemary. Some of the people out there love pine scent. So all these different scents that you shared, like your potential clients, there are unique. And so one of the biggest things that people say is that, oh, the market's so saturated. There's so many coaches and consultants and people doing what I do. That might be true, but every person is looking for something so unique. And that, so if you say like, I love rosemary, and you say that, the people who love rosemary can be like, oh my God, you're speaking my language of rosemary. So little side note, how everyone had a different scent. Not everyone here said vanilla, but even if you were all vanilla, like there's vanilla doesn't, not all vanillas smell exactly the same. So the seventh one is you can create some type of ritual. And I feel like sometimes the word ritual can seem so involved, and it could just be as elaborate as you want, where you're going to wear all white, you're going to, you're going to serve these different elixirs, to just the simple act of lighting a candle and saying a prayer, whether it's out loud or in your mind's eye. You could create a vision board. It's so funny. I saw someone say like, no more vision boards. It was basically like an anti-vision board post, but I really love vision boards, and it's okay to not like them. So these are just options. So I love vision boards. I actually wanted to show you I guess it's called a dream box or a vision box. Let me see if I can. So my husband and I created this. This is just like an old shoebox, right? And so that is my husband and I and my daughter, and I'm pregnant with my son that you can't see. And so on the box, I just kind of decorated it with things that I wanted. So at the time we weren't married, and so there's a ring on the box. We wanted to buy a house, so we have a house on here. And so this activity I learned about from Sonia Choquette, who's like an intuitive, and she's written lots of books. And so inside, so she has these little, what do I want to call them? Like intention statements that you can make. And I'll actually post this in the Facebook group so you guys can do it. But basically, what you do is you write down your name. So it says, I, my name, use my full power of intention, imagination, and action to create the following heart's desire. And then you're going to sign the date and your name. And so what's so powerful to me about this? So we created this box, and then we put lots of intentions inside. But when you really take this statement to heart, and I've heard this statement, and each time I read it, I'm like, okay, there's like deeper to go with it. So it says, I, Kadidja Yansani, you'd say your name, use my full power of intention. So listen to this, my full power of intention. There's so many times when I have wanted something, but did not use my full power of intention. You maybe you use a little bit of intention, and your full power doesn't mean that you exhaust yourself, that you do things you don't want to do, but it means that you show up fully for the desire. So the full power of your intention, your imagination, right? Like, wow, we're such imaginative beings. We think about like you being able to, maybe you've seen yourself on stage, you've seen yourself writing books, you see yourself teaching, you see yourself affecting all of these children, or the audience that you serve. So your full power of intention, imagination, and action to create the following heart's desire. So then you'd write down the heart's desire. And so I've shared this several times in my community that I used to be a person with lots of imagination. I didn't necessarily set intentions, and I didn't take action. That I still manifested stuff, like I think we're manifesting all the time. But it wasn't until I really started taking action, and certain types of action, that, I was able to fulfill some of these heart's desires. And I still have tons of heart's desires that I would like to fulfill. So but that's the beauty, is that we never tire of wanting something and wanting to create. So it's written here in the chat. I use the full power of my intention. So that means we have to set intentions, right? And be conscious of how we're imagining. Like, are we imagining like worst case scenarios where like we fall on stage and we get booed? Or are we using our imagination to be like, people are coming up to you and they're saying, thank you. Oh, I so appreciate what you're doing. Are you taking on new clients? So we want to be diligent with how we use our imagination. So you don't have to use the box, but that's a fun thing to do. Some people also like to put them in jars. So you could put like your desires in a jar and then pull from them. So you want to lean into like what feels like exciting for you versus, it's not a have to. I love, so we said a vision board, dream jar, a box. I love flowers. And so I think that buying yourself flowers is such, I think buying flowers is so celebratory. And if you like buying yourself the flowers that you love, putting them in your space, and it just adds, like, you can feel the energy of the flowers in the room. We don't have to wait for a party or for a special occasion. Like, your life is the special occasion, your business is the special occasion, and buy yourself some flowers. So I would love to hear what your favorite flowers are in the chat. What flowers get you every time? I often get, I like roses, like kind of like a baby pink peach roses, but I also like lilies. There's so many different types of flowers. One of the things I started doing this year, I know there are many gardeners on the call, like I started gardening, and so we have tulips and roses, yes, sunflowers, stargazer lilies, peonies, lilies. Is it Gerber or Gerber daisies? Daisies. Awesome. Again, someone says, I love tulips and I buy flowers every week at the market. I love it. Thank you, Johnette. Did you notice how you each, like pretty much everyone, there's like such a diversity and variety of flowers. And so if we can just use this metaphor of that, the people out there that are looking for your services, they like different kinds of flowers. So even if someone's teaching the same thing as you, it's not just about the service and the program, it's also about the person. It's the program and the person, okay? Like, I have completely purchased programs that were not about the person and just the program, and I'm like, I'm not really into it, even though I wanted that thing. So I just want you to rest in knowing that there are people out there who, like, the way you do it is like singing their song. Susan says, I can grow roses and you grow them all year. My favorite flower is lilac, but I can't get them in Hawaii. Awesome. Thanks for sharing. So who, if you haven't bought flowers, who feels inspired or sees themselves getting some flowers in the next 7 days? I see a few nods. Cool. Awesome. All right. So 9 is to make a desire list for the year. Again, we can do this any time of year, but one of the things that I started doing years ago with this planner, it's actually by Leonie Dawson. She has you write a list of 100 things you'd like to do this year. But 100 things is a lot, but it's not made with the intention of like, I have to do every single thing on this list this year. But there's something really powerful of just getting those juices flowing. Sometimes, like, it's easy for me to like write the first 50 things, then I have to think maybe a little bit harder for the next 50 things. And there's still things, I've been doing this probably before I had my daughter, so 9 years. And there's still things from 9 years ago that I haven't crossed off, but there's so many things that I have, and new things happen every year. And so it's just a joy to like write down what would inspire me. Do you want to travel? Do you want a certain number of people in your program? Do you want new furniture? Do you want a VA? and being present with your Christmas list. You know, kids enjoy this, writing down their list of, you know, what they want for Christmas. And so we don't have to stop. We can keep asking the universe for, like, I want to, maybe you want to go back to school. What are the things you want? It starts with acknowledging that desire, and it makes it easy for other people to give it to you. Isn't it interesting? Like, sometimes people want to buy you something or do something for you. And have you ever asked someone what they would like for an occasion? They're like, I don't know. I have to think about it. Now you're going to be like, here, let me send you my Google Doc of desires. I'm very open, receptive to having these desires be fulfilled. I'd love for people to donate to my nonprofit. Yeah. Can you donate this amount of money to my nonprofit? Put those things on your desire list. Next up, we have play some music you love, dance, get in your body. Like, it's a celebration. I mean it when I say, like, first of all, I just want to ask anyone to raise their hand if they lost anyone in their life this year. So I'm raising my hand. There are a few other people who are raising their hand, that even though, like, on a level, I know how precious life is, there's still a way that, like, I expect to see my kids grow up, right? Like, I think that I'm going to be here next year, but I also know that I don't know. And so I had a coach that I worked with. Wow, Elise says 3 people. So for all of you who lost people this year, like, my condolences. And, you know, this year, a coach that I worked with for 2 years, she died of cancer. She was 46, just like me, vibrant, healthy, doing her inner work, doing, you know, focused on her business. And it's just hard to imagine that, like, wow, she's not here. And so um, I often say, like, one of the things I learned from working with her is how to host summits. I've hosted 3 summits, and I'm just so grateful to her that she put her work out there, that I got to work with her. And even though I worked with her for 2 years, the things that she taught me, I'm still implementing in my business. And so one thing I want to say about that is that anyone who signs up to work with you, they work with you beyond that specific container. So let's say your program's 8 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. Everything you teach them, if you're a great coach, they're going to take with you. Just like I'm seeing Johnette, she's a teacher. Like, we don't forget our teachers, right? You're like, I had that teacher in 2nd grade and I still remember their name. And I think it's the same thing with the work that you all do. Carolyn says, I am grieving parents who are still living, but Alzheimer's, have lost them in many ways. Carolyn, we are just sending you so much love. I have aging parents too, and it can be really challenging, the different illnesses, ailments, to see people that we love. Maybe they don't remember us or have difficulty with their memory. And we're not just entrepreneurs, we are full women with full lives, and we get to bring all of that to the table. Thank you for sharing, Caroline. So we said, play some music, get into your body, and you can do this anytime. Like, I remember, I've shared, some of you know that I was someone who was terrified of social media. When I first got on Facebook, I literally had a picture of me from behind, and it was dark. Like, my face wasn't even forward. And initially, I remember I would call a friend and be like, okay, I'm hitting post. And then there's a difference between, like, okay, I'm going to do it, I'm scared, and then being able to do it from power, and like how you can pump yourself up with music and be in your zone, and like know that what you're sharing is an offer. And to the right people, they're like, yes, that's what I'm looking for. Elise says, I'm dealing with the same thing with my mom. Thank you for sharing, Elise. And I hope you all see that you are not alone, and all the things that you're experiencing as a business owner, as a person with real life, with real relationships and real families. So we said dance. We said, oh, I didn't say, toast with your favorite drink. Like, we don't have to wait until a wedding to toast with our favorite drink. So maybe that's champagne, maybe it's kombucha, maybe it's your sparkling water, maybe it's ginger beer, but toast yourself or toast with another. Toast yourself on getting this far. So 12 is, what are your goals for the new year? What do you want to create? I think it's really important to have some space to do this and sit down, because sometimes I was sitting down with my goals yesterday and I had to think. I didn't know right away. What are your goals? What do you want to create in 2023? Some people don't like the word goals. Pick the word that resonates with you. If it's goals, if it's desire, if it's a vision, if it's a resolution, it doesn't matter. The point is that you want something that feels like your North Star, that you're working towards, that lights you up. And a woman on purpose is magnetic, is attractive, and people want more of you. Number 13 is, you want to select a symbol of what you want this year to be for you. And that symbol, it doesn't have to be something that you buy. It could be something that you already have, but it could be something that you buy. So I want to show you a symbol that I got when I was like, I want to have a baby. So 9 years ago, I saw this cute little onesie at Agape Church in Los Angeles. And so it says God Diva Divine Gem. And on the back, it said 100% pure divine ingredients. I should also let you know that I wasn't dating anyone to have a baby with. So when I was there with my friend and she's like, you're buying a onesie, it was just like, why are you buying a onesie? But I saw the onesie and I was like, this is, my baby's going to be in this onesie. I know this sounds really woo, but I think he wouldn't be here if you didn't have a woo side. But I was calling my baby in. And this literally is the first thing I had my daughter Naima at home, and the midwife was like, what do you want to put her in? And I pointed to this onesie, and that was the first thing that she wore. Similarly, this year, my husband and I, we bought a home in January. And prior to that, I got these 2 frames to do, and it has like multiple slots for pictures. And I got one for my husband for his side of the family, and one for me for my side of the family. And we didn't put them up in our old house, but I was just like, I'm buying this and I want to put it up. And so your symbol doesn't have to be like, okay, if I want a baby, I'm going to get a onesie. But it could be an element like a stone or crystal. But like, to me, there's something really powerful about like that something needs to fill this space, right? So I need a wall to put those frames on. And so I'm calling forth that home, and like, this is going to be like a symbol for me. And so think about what feels like a resonant symbol for you that you want to call in. Like, it could be sheets, maybe you're like, and that was a symbol for me for 1 year. Like, I'm getting new sheets. Maybe it's a plant, maybe it's a planner, but there's something that has that energy of newness that you want to charge for the new year. So if any ideas are coming up for you around this symbol, I would love to hear it in the comments. It's also fun to do like, what's your word of the year? You might be seeing this, like, is there a word that you feel like describes or encapsulates what you want more of in this year? I find that adjectives can be really helpful. Like, maybe you want more play, maybe you want excitement. For me, 1 year was like, I want support. Maybe it's growth. Like, what is going to be that anchor for you? Maybe it's one of your values. Maybe it's abundance. And then you can ask yourself, it could be a really great way to make decisions. It can be a great way to make decisions because you can gauge, like, is this a good decision? Does this support what I'm wanting this year? So Gail says it's authenticity. Janet says it's gratitude. And yes, are words that have gratitude and yes. Your year of yes. You want to say yes more. See, do you see how that's so expansive? Yes. You know, I mean, no can be is equally important, you know, because what we say no to can help us say yes to the things that we really want. So I love that. It feels very expansive. Number 15 is thank you notes. So one of the things, you know, we love to create a holiday card. This is our holiday card for this year. What I love, I mean, it doesn't have to be a holiday card. It could be a thank you email. It could be snail mail. It's nice to receive snail mail. And you don't want to just get bills. It's nice that someone took the time to go to the post office, but it doesn't have to be. But one of the things that's so fun is like looking back at your year and just saying thank you to the people who, you know, helped you or supported you or loved you during that year. Or maybe it's just you blessing other people. Maybe it's you want to send thank you notes to your clients or a happy new year to your clients. Like, it's been a pleasure working with you. Whichever thing feels aligned for you, but just realizing that you didn't get to December 31st alone. Like, there's so many people who supported you in so many different ways. And sometimes, even though you might feel it inside, it's like, oh, like, we can just keep going on with life and forget to say thank you. And I know we do this with kids a lot when they're like, can I have this? And they don't say thank you, right? You're like, say thank you. So like, who have you not said thank you to that you might like to say thank you to, or that you just want to wish, you know, share a blessing or a happy new year with? Awesome. So then 16 is forgiveness. And even as I say this, sometimes the next step might not be forgiveness. So even though I'm saying forgiveness, you know, sometimes there's a few steps before forgiveness. But you can ask yourself, like, is there anyone that I'm still feeling resentment towards, feeling angry towards? How can I forgive them, or pray to forgive them, or pray to forgive yourself? I love, you know, if I find that, like, I'm thinking about something in a resentful way or about someone in a resentful way, I'm a huge fan of the Ho'oponopono prayer of I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. There's so many, maybe there's a forgiveness letter that you write to the person, or you just keep it for yourself and you burn it. But like, are there any places where you feel like you're feeling tight, or maybe you're resentful of someone else for having more success, or you feel like it should be you, but like, where can you extend forgiveness? To whom can you extend forgiveness is a powerful, it's a powerful inquiry. And you just even being willing to forgive, even if you're not there yet. And if you're not there yet, like, you know, maybe you need support. Do you need the support of a therapist, of a circle? Is there some healing that needs to happen? I know it's not something that you can rush, but getting into the inquiry around forgiveness opens up and has you feel lighter as well. And then the more that we give ourselves permission to forgive, and we're not holding on to resentment and looking at the other person, right? Like, we get to look at ourselves, our own business, and we have more space to create what we want. So the next one is being out in nature, you know, your garden, the beach, the woods, your backyard, a flower garden, being a big old tree hugger, you know, like just being out in nature. Where I am now, it's raining right now, but Nature is always so healing, and that you can bury your desires in the earth and give them to Mother Earth. You can send them into the ocean, right? Like, you're not alone. Like, use the elements to support you and hold your desires and shelter you and guide you as you continue walking in your purpose and in your business growth. And then the last one is asking yourself, like, what support do you need? What support do I need moving forward? And this has been such a big thing for me. I think it was 3 years ago, 2019, or was it 28? And it doesn't matter. So I was doing an interview with someone, and she was saying, Kadidja, a lot of people say they don't have money for a VA, but I guarantee you, and this is a 7-figure coach that I was interviewing, and she was saying that when she invested in a VA, like, it just made such a difference for her. And so I didn't yet have a VA at the point. I had been thinking about it, but it was actually two people that they said that. And I'm not saying that the next step for you is necessarily a VA, but and sometimes I feel like I can do stuff on my own, right? Which I can't. There's a lot of things I can do on my own. And you have to ask yourself, like, how much time do you have? Can you do like every single thing by yourself? And what support do you need? Is it a virtual assistant? This past year I've been working with a bookkeeper. Is it a coach? Is it an accountant? Is it, maybe if you've been stalling on doing a sales page, maybe you need to hire someone else to do it. Maybe it's personal help. Maybe you need help in your house. I was talking with a client yesterday, who was saying, like, she does have a house cleaner, but she was saying, I think I need someone to come twice a month. So it's like, where can you up level your support? Maybe it's childcare. And so we have a babysitter right now who's in the next room, but for a long time, I was just like, oh my God, these are some ways that I feel like I need more help in my household, more help in my business. And so even if you don't take the action yet to actually hire someone, ask yourself, if I could have it any way that I wanted, where would I get support in my business? What would I have them do? I'll tell you a quick story. I was working with someone who really needed a VA, but she felt like it was going to take more time that she didn't have to train someone, and she didn't think they would do it as well as she could do it. So yeah, there is a learning curve to working with someone new. And part of it is stepping inside of your leadership, being able to communicate what your needs are, and recognizing that any relationship is a human relationship, that there's some time to get to know each other and make sure that you're on the same page about things. But what support would just elevate your personal life, would elevate, it's like, oh, now what happens if you have a babysitter? You can actually go on a date. You can actually spend time with your partner. Or if you didn't spend 5 hours cleaning and you got support there, what would you do with that 5 hours? So I'd love to hear in the comments, what support do you think could enhance your life? So before I do a quick review, I want to tell you about the upcoming Client Creation Queen 3-day retreat. And that is happening January 13th through the 15th. Christina says, definitely a VA. Yeah. And you could just start with a few hours. It doesn't even have to be, I remember I'm like, well, I feel like I could do this myself. That that can get us in a lot of trouble, right? Yes, it's not that you can't do it yourself, but we can't do everything. Janet says, someone to create my logo and web page. Awesome. That's beautiful, because sometimes people can get stopped here because they're wanting to create that. And so it can also increase the speed with which something gets done when we have support. So is there another? Cynthia says, improve my website and SEO. Beautiful. Because sometimes what happens is we can be knocking our head trying to figure something out, knocking your head, and more time goes by. And wherever two or more are gathered, miracles happen. Can't say it enough. So beautiful. May you all get the perfect support that you need in 2023. And this be something that you just ask yourself, like, how can I make this easier, simpler? What support can I get? Kim says she's looking for a business coach and help with taxes. Beautiful. I answer, all of these questions every year, but like, keep asking yourself what support, and you're welcome, Cynthia, like, how can I make this easier? Sometimes we don't know that we're overcomplicating people. Yes, whenever two people are gathered, and this happens all the time. It's like we can get locked or stuck in a we're only seeing this. And then when we get together, like we're gathering here, it's like, oh, you hear other people saying, oh, maybe I need a business coach. Oh, maybe I should get some help with SEO. Oh, maybe I could have someone help me with my logo. I don't have to try to design it myself. This is the beauty of being either with one other person or with multiple people. So before I review what we went over, I would love to welcome Faith. I would love to extend an invitation to you all to my upcoming Client Creation Queen 3-day online retreat. It's happening on Zoom, January 13th through the 15th. This is my third one. I love this event so much because we get to do some of what we've been doing here in real time. I have workbooks for you and you can fill out the prompts. We get into breakout sessions where you get to meet all of the women in the room and reflect on the exercises that we're doing. We do a sacred money archetypes process. We look at your marketing. So you're going to leave with this is your 90-day plan of what you're going to do, what your 2 marketing strategies are. We workshop your messaging. So if you need help with either your elevator pitch or your workshop title, you're actually going to get one-on-one coaching inside of the retreat in a group setting, obviously. And it's just a fun and meaningful way to bring in the year. So I wanted to let you know about that. Today's the 31st, so the price actually goes up tomorrow by $50. So if you'd like to attend that, it's so worth it. I promise you, it is so worth it. The link is in the chat. And if you have any questions about it, you're welcome to ask me. So I want to review what we went over today. So the first thing we said was you want to reflect on the previous year. Welcome, Sherilyn, or Charlene. I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong. So the first thing you want to do is reflect on the previous year. So at the retreat, you're going to have journal prompts to reflect on the previous year, and then you'll be able to share with other people. The second thing is you want to tie up loose ends. So what's nagging at you? What have you because what happens is we keep beating up on ourselves for not doing things. And then it's like, if you can just, even if you can't get it done in one go, but work on it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's going to free up space. And it's not going to be this irritation thing that's distracting you from the important work in your business. We talked about decluttering. I think I'll make a list. I'll write the list out and I'll send it to you. We talked about decluttering. So what's nagging you? Is it your car, your email, your drawers, your activities? Do an edit. This is a good time to edit and be like, do I still like this sweater? Am I going to be able to fit this again? And let it go. You're going to open up space so that you're I was going to say the new you, but I feel like it's the more dialed in, you're peeling off the layers that aren't you, and the newest, most authentic version of you can step up. So we talked about decluttering, cleaning up your environment, your house, your car, elevating your space. One thing that I didn't say that I did to elevate my space, we did get a new couch, but that's not what it was. So I love wooden furniture, and I've had some pieces that I've had for so long, and I just got a few things refurbished this year. And it just like, so my desk was one piece, which I love, and like there was paint on it from my kids, like it just, and I got it refurbished. They brought it back in. It feels so good to look at. It's not an eyesore every time I walk into the living room. I also got this trunk refurbished, and it's no longer an eyesore. I still have some things. So it's like, again, I didn't get everything this year, but like it's on my agenda for 2023. So what are some things that you're like, that pillow, I just really need to throw that away and take that to the Goodwill or throw it in the trash. Like just give yourself the permission to do it. We talked about clearing our space, letting go of what we don't need. I would have burned some, usually I have sage right here, but I don't. But that's okay. I have some spray, right? So like clear out that's some eucalyptus, like clear the space. Do this regularly, because like emotions, conversations, like all of that's living in our walls, living in our energy field, and let's clear it. I'm looking at Cynthia because I know she does EFT and is it neuro linguistic programming, NLP? Yeah, so it's like maybe you want to watch some EFT videos, like clear. That's a great tool. She's got great videos that you can go watch, and like that's another clearing tool, right? Because as sensitive, empathic, intuitive people, like there's so much that is sticking to us, other people's sadness, other people. I know parents came up. It's like, oh, we're holding our parents, we're holding clients, we're holding our children. And we just need to constantly be clearing, so that clearing our own energy, so and calling our own energy back to ourselves, so we're not like having all of everyone's energy attached to us. It's just like there's a kid over here, a parent over here, this over here, this over here. So clean yourself. I see Johnette smiling. Clean yourself daily. So, and it's simple. EFT, some spray, walking out in the woods. All right, let's go through this list. We said clean up your environment. We talked about, clearing sage, Himalayan salt lamp, cleaning up your altar or any little corners, like even just your nightstands. You know how stuff gets on there? Take everything off, wipe it off, put it back on. It just like neatens up the energy. Is there a ritual that you feel like would light you up? Do you want to burn something? Buy yourself some flowers. You guys named some amazing flowers in the chat. If you haven't already, what's your desire list for 2022? Keep a running tab, whether it's written or on Google Doc. And so if you can't think of 100 things now, just have your little Google Doc and just keep adding to it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put that hot tub on my desire list. Maybe it's a hammock. Maybe it's that business retreat. Maybe it's working with that person. Play some music you love, dance, get it in your body, toast yourself with your favorite drink. And I'm going to give you guys a chance to toast yourself in a moment. What's your goals for the year? We want to have concrete, tangible goals. So like at the end of the year, you'll be able to be like, I made progress on them. You can select a symbol of what you want this year to be for you. And I use the example of the picture frames and also the onesie. Do you have thank you notes or anyone you want to give thanks to? We talked about forgiveness. Like, is there anything that's weighing on your heart that's making you feel heavy? And then if you're not ready to forgive, just being willing to forgive. And then what's the healing work you can do? Awesome. And I'll come to you in just a moment, Janet. And then we talked about forgiveness. You want to be out in nature, your garden, around flowers, that remembering like the nature, like we're not alone, like we're not alone. And then the last one is, what support do you need on this leg of your journey? What would support you next? And then before we before I give you guys a chance to toast what you're toasting to, I'd love to give opportunity to Jeanette or Christina, who have both attended the retreat, to share what they feel like they've gotten. Who wants to go first? I can hear you, Jeanette.
Uh, Greetings, everyone. So good to see you all today. Thank you, Kadidja, for inviting me to share. I just want to say I've registered for the retreat for a third year. I think it was divine orchestration for me to cross paths with Kadidja. I've learned so much. Kadidja just has a way that it's so supportive, so nurturing and caring, regardless to your niche or industry. She has such a wealth of experience, and um, I'm an educational consultant, and I found that being in this community with Kadidja and other women entrepreneurs has been very supportive to me rather, so that I could work at my own pace and evolve and grow to best support my clients. I've gained more confidence with visibility, although I've taken baby steps, but those baby steps have yielded great results for me and my clients. So I'm excited and looking forward to the retreat this year. And if you haven't signed up, I definitely encourage you all to consider it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeanette. Jeanette, she's done more than baby steps. She put out a post this year that got over 200 likes and comments and all these shares. I was just like, whoa, talk about surpass me, Jeanette. But it's been a pleasure to have you in the community, and thank you for what you said. Christina.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Christina. I do echo what Jonna has said. I could repeat it, but I also will just speak to my own experience. So I actually attended Kadidja's first retreat. So I was in the inaugural bunch, I suppose. And really, just speaking to the retreat itself, is that, from the moment I signed up, I felt, nurtured, because Kadidja had sent out, this best little packet, with, I won't give anything away, but this best little packet with some fun things for the retreat, that day, and then also for things that I could hold and keep. I will say, Kadidja, I still have those things right here, right next to my computer, my desk. And then it was a very supportive 3 days. I came in, didn't know what to expect, just because, I had never really been to a 3-day online retreat before. But everything was filled, and nothing was repeated. In other words, everything was filled with information, connection, tips, strategies, meditation. Every day was filled with something, and we just, I don't know, the days went by so quickly for me. It was a wonderful experience of sisterhood. I'll say that 100%, because I still am in contact with many of the women who I was in that retreat with. And as a matter of fact, doing co-creating with them as well. So I met a lot of wonderful women there that, needless to say, they're still in my life, right? I just said that. But then also I continued working with Kadidja afterwards, because she's, like Jeanette said, supportive, nurturing, caring, and I will say real. Nothing is, some things for me were unexpected, because I was learning things about myself. But certainly, Kadidja gives you the real information, the real connection. Like she doesn't like sugarcoat things, and that is what I needed. Like I needed to hear, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to do this. And when I did it, even though I was afraid to, I was worried, what was going to happen. I did those things, kept me out of my comfort zone, so to speak. And the last thing I'll say is that after working with Kadidja, I got my very first client, and I was like thrilled because I followed her steps. So that really was like so great. And then I keep doing the things that you've taught me, Kadidja. I keep doing those things, and they keep working.
Thank you so much for sharing, Christina. To all of you, like, I feel so proud of the women that, like Christina and Jeanette, and like all of you all that are in my community. I know a lot of people say heart-centered, but they really are. The people that are in my world really are heart-centered, actually do care. It's always funny when people are like, I don't want to be salesy, but like there's nothing salesy about you anyway. So if I would love to have you at the retreat, it's part soul. So you're going to get the journaling, the meditation, but then we also look at messaging and marketing and how are you going to actually make money in 2023. So I would love us to close out with giving, and I put the link is in the comments if you want to register, and it goes up tomorrow. And even when it goes up, it's still worth it for the 3 days, I swear. I want to give you an opportunity, or a few of you an opportunity, to say, like, what are you toasting to? I wish I had a cup. Well, I do have a cup, but it doesn't have any like sparkly beverage in it. Yeah, so what are you toasting to today, 2022, or what would you like to toast to? Like, toast yourself or something. Cynthia, it looks like you're looking for the mute button, am I right? Or the unmute button? Okay. Cynthia is toasting to the beginning of her sacred business. Cheers, cheers, ching, ching. Who else?
I'm toasting to 2023 as being the year of expansion. So.
Woohoo! And so it is. Cheers to your year of expansion, Christina. Anybody else? Jeanette says she's toasting to abundant life and growth. Yes, cheers. Anybody else? Caroline, it looks like you're looking for the unmute button. Did you find it? Let's see. How come I can't do it? She's toasting to following her heart. Yes. We use the word heart-centered. The first word is heart. Isn't that the funny part? Yeah, that means we're supposed to listen and follow our heart. So beautiful. Anybody else? Going once, going twice. Beautiful. Okay, so why don't we close out with 3 breaths? I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes. And we're just going to take 3 nice deep breaths together. Inhaling now. Inhaling again. One last time, inhale. Just feeling your feet firmly planted on the ground, sinking into the earth, recognizing, remembering that you are a part of the earth, and the earth expects you to grow, wants you to grow, wants to support you. And all of those seeds that you've planted in your mind's eye, in your heart, here in your body, you're just going to allow the earth, you're going to allow your higher self, you're going to allow source to nurture those seeds. And we're going to have positive expectancy that it's our destiny to bloom, to grow, to flourish, and be our own unique, exquisite flower. And so giving thanks for this in advance, giving thanks for the clients, the community, the abundance, the meaningful work, the support, the help, everything we need to thrive. We give thanks for that in advance, and we open ourselves to receive it. And as I count down from 3 to 1, you're going to gently open your eyes and know that this is so. And give thanks for it and look for it. And so it is. 3, 2, and 1. And we are going to leave with a word that encapsulates how you're feeling now. You can type that in the chat. Ready. Motivated. Inspired. Grateful. Excited. Hopeful. Happy New Year, Queen. Happy New Year. Would anyone like to say anything before we complete or ask me any questions? I will hang on for a little bit, but I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, evening, and may this be such a blessed, beautiful year for you all. Thank you, Christina. And I'll just, you're welcome. And I'll hang on for a few moments if anyone has any questions. You're welcome, Caroline. Thanks for being here. Yes, Cynthia.
Thank you so much. It was so beautiful, Kadidja.
You're so welcome, Cynthia. Happy New
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to all as well. Thank you, thank you. Just a quick one. I really would like, because I won't be able to be on the evening, because here is evening, and of course, you know, in the States is morning. But I can't, I mean, I will not be able to be on the 13th, but I really would like not to miss a little bit. Would you mind? Sorry, record.
No, don't worry, we'll send you the recording.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Cynthia. We look forward to seeing you at the retreat.
Thank you.
Bye. Hi, Gail.
That was actually my question too. So if you can't attend the entire retreat, you would send a recording?
Yeah, so we do have an upgrade. So the retreat's $147 and then the upgrade's $47. And so that will give you access to all of the recordings.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Welcome. I hope to see you there.
Okay. Have a good New Year.
You, same as well. Bye, Cynthia.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Did anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Johnette. Thank you, Carrie Ann, Faith, Charlene, Charlene, and Natalie. I'll give it one more go, see if anyone had anything before we complete. Okay. Happy New Year. Thanks for being here, and we'll send out the recording. Bye, everyone.